One of the things I do, for example, is software development. You have to write the code that makes the app what it is. So if you hit a button, the button, does something. Then what people don't realize often is that the app doesn't just live on your phone. There's another part of the app that lives somewhere else that they have to communicate. And so you have to write that part as well. And then you have to make sure that they're communicating properly. And when you're doing stuff that can be important, like somebody's banking information, you want to make sure that the communication is also secure. And so you have to test to make sure that nothing gets broken, or if somebody had bad intentions, they weren't able to actually steal somebody's data. I help with finances, for example, build financial models. How do you hire the right people for the right jobs? A lot of different things.
My daily duties change all the time. It kind of depends on the season. Fundraising is very specifically seasonal, which I don't think many people recognize. So on a day-to-day basis, I kind of spread my efforts out across writing grants, doing grant reporting, doing a lot of prospecting and researching on support, and really cultivating strategic partnerships across all of those major sectors, and trying to make sure that I'm aligning our programmatic mission and cause with funding opportunities so that we can kind of have the biggest impact and affect the biggest change in environmental climate action.
I do leadership assessment, leadership coaching around the assessment, designing and developing learning courses for leaders and curriculum and learning experiences. And then I do the same thing for teams. I coach and consult with teams around new team startup. I do it with conflict resolution, collaboration within and between teams, a lot of facilitation. That's a big piece of the work that I do. For example, I might have a slide on a screen that would have information about dynamics of change in organizations. And it might be a laundry list of maybe 8 bullets or something like that. Let's look at this list and see the ones that maybe you've noticed within your own work environment. Which ones are the most challenging and the most difficult for you? How have you dealt with them in the past? And those kinds of things to generate conversation about, yes, we're learning something, this is important for us, and it can help us do our jobs better, so how do I do this well? So I kind of think about it as the what, so what, and now what.
As of today, I have a team of 11, 4 merchants, 3 product developers, and 3 graphic designers. I really have to oversee all 3 functions of the team and the collaboration of those teams, how they work together. So on a daily basis, I'm meeting with clients to understand what the scope of the projects are. I'm meeting with my merchant and product development team to make sure that the projects are being executed correctly. And then I'm also meeting with my graphic designers to make sure that the concepts are being translated from the clients to actual paper and then to the finished products.
There's quite a lot that goes into this profession. Basically, you have to do it all. Especially as a sports reporter, you have to be able to know how to produce, edit, shoot, write, everything under the sun. And especially as a producer, you have to be able to manage timing, manage talent, script, stories, news gather, edit, create graphics, and basically make sure the show goes on. That's your job, is that you head the show and make sure everything runs properly. You are a one-man band. You are out there alone, shooting, editing, writing, basically everything.
Do you remember your first moment when you were live on TV, and were you nervous, and how did it go?
In college, when I was first starting, because my high school had this kind of program, but I was never a part of it because everybody always took this class and I always got bumped out of it. So college was the first time that I had most of my reporting experiences, and definitely when you hear you're gonna go live, because there's just so much pressure to be perfect. We're still human, things happen. Things that happen in a live shot, especially in sports. I could get taken out by a player easily on the sideline, but you kind of just got to keep recovering and keep going. Luckily that hasn't happened to me yet. Hopefully not jinxing myself. You see that red light turn on the camera, you're like, here we go, game time, like, gotta show out.
My main duties, first and foremost, if I look at my day, is 100% of my time. 40%, if not 45%, is just spent on management issues tied to the department. It could be everything from team reviews and individual employees reviews, sitting down and talking to people about their career development, developing their own network, or maybe even just helping with projects. I don't have the opportunity to get too deep into the issues. That's why I've got subject matter experts with whom I work. But I would equate it to more of a macroeconomic as opposed to a micro. I'm pretty high level with regard to what I do, and I find that with most generals counsel, spread out among many projects throughout the entire department.
Really being a project leader, so defining what the project plan is going to look like, identifying the resources that we need to complete the project, and putting together a timeline, and that's really where we're at the moment. But we will be kicking that off starting here in a couple weeks. And then my role at that point will really be meeting with managers and employees to understand what their roles are, and then to take that information and compare it to what we see in the market so we can determine what compensation should look like.